Hello everyone. I Sneha Marathe, Assistant Professor PG Department of Law SP University. I welcome you all to the class of Insurance Law. Today we are starting with the new topic of Unit 1, that is insurable interest. Up till now we have understood the concept of insurance, what is insurance law and how it is working. So important thing what we have studied up till now, insurance is a type of contract. So we know that as in contract law, to become any contract to the valid contract, there are basic 9 elements which is required compulsorily to become any contract as a valid contract. Similar to that, when we are discussing insurance contract, in insurance contract is also one type of contract, that is specifically indemnity contract. So all the basic element of contract is required in this also, but with that the special element which are required in insurance contract, those are known as general principles of insurance contract. The first we have seen, that is any type of insurance contract is indemnity contract. That is the first general principle of insurance contract. The second thing what we have studied is utmost good faith, Uberima fides. Utmost good faith is a basic element and most necessary element of insurance contract. Similar on this line, the third basic and general element of insurance contract is insurable interest. Earlier it was not there, but in current situation, the insurable interest is a very essential element of insurance contract. Now, what is a meaning and how we understood the concept of insurable interest? Insurable interest, first of all, is in form of property. Its nature is in form of property, or we can say it is in form of actionable claim in contemplation of law. Means that to prove anything, to prove any person is having insurable interest in any particular property, what he has to prove? First and basic element to prove is your ownership. If some person is successfully can establish his ownership or proprietary right in any particular property, maybe it is movable or immovable property, he can say that I am owner of that property and that is why I am having insurable interest in that particular property. Why? Because he is owner of that property, he will have the pecuniary interest. Means if any event happened, in that case, if the property is getting lost or property is getting damaged, he will suffer a monetary loss, and that is why he can very well establish insurable interest in particular property. So first thing what we have understood is, to prove any person is having insurable interest in anything or any subject matter, he can prove by the ownership or by the proprietary right. Second thing we have understood that insurable interest, it is in form of actionable claim. Now actionable claim in terms of finance, the finance student must have understood the concept of actionable claim, and the other type of actionable claim are, example I can give you, like unsecured debt or a share of profit in partner's property or partner's profit rather. So these are the actionable claim. Similar to that, this is also actionable claim. So this can be transferred to other. And this concept of transferring actionable claim we will go in detail in the case of fire insurance. We will be studying that in further slides. So this is basic thing. And lastly, we can say the actionable claim is the essential condition. It is sine qua non in the legal term, we can say. Why? It differs and it differentiates insurance contract from wagering contract. Because in insurance contract also there are two parties, one is assured or insured, the other is insurer or insurance company. If any if any bad event is happening, if the person or property is getting destroyed, in that case insurance company has to bear a loss on behalf of that assured or insured. So in this case, if we study and if we analyze, the insurer means insurance company is facing a loss and assured is facing a win-loss situation if we discuss. Similar to wagering contract. In wagering contract is also there is a kind of contract of bet where one person is winning, other person is losing. But how insurance contract is different from wagering contract? Because in wagering contract, except winning or losing, the person is not having any other interest in that particular subject matter. But in insurance contract, the person is having insurable interest in that particular subject matter, and this is how insurance contract is different from wagering contract. And that is why we say it is a basic and essential element of insurance contract. Now, when we are saying that any person is having insurable interest in particular thing, how you can prove that? Because if the person is facing any pecuniary or monetary loss by losing that particular thing or losing that subject matter, in that case he can prove that I have suffered a loss, and that is why the insurance company will pay the compensation. This kind of example we can study in form of fire insurance. For example, person A is buying insurance of his property, of his house. If house is getting burned, in that case he can prove that I was living in the house, the property belongs to me. If it is getting lost or it is damaged, I have faced the monetary loss, and that is why insurance company will pay the loss amount to the insured or assured person. So this is how the insurable interest is applicable here. But if we understood otherwise, in case of life insurance, because life insurance is a not actual kind of indemnity contract, we have studied that. Because once the life has gone, no one can give the life back to the person's body, right? That is why in life insurance contract, there is no requirement of proving damage, but insurance will get insured will get amount as whatever has been fixed or contracted between the parties. So this is how insurable interest works differently to the different kind of contract. It works differently in life insurance, in fire insurance and in marine insurance. That we will be discussing in future slides. There is one case law, Lucena versus Crawford in 1806. This case law is important because it has given important inputs to the concept of insurable interest. First of all, they have given detailed explanation or definition, we can say, of insurable interest. In that, they have expressly defined what is interest. So interest is happening of any event if any one party will get advantage, and if the frustration of contract will lead to the loss suffered by that particular party. So this is how you can prove how insurable interest is involved by that particular insured person. Second is, as we have already understood, insurable interest is a property in nature of actionable claim. So you can transfer it from purchaser to seller, from mortgagee to mortgage, from mortgager to mortgagee, likewise. And specifically, one major input by this case law is it has extended the dictum, the definition of insurable interest. Earlier to this case, only the owners, or if the person is having proprietary interest in any property, then only that person will be able to buy insurance for that particular thing or on property or on any subject matter. But after this case, even the person who is having short-term gain, or for example of this type is even the tenant or the carrier of goods, even that person is having that property for short term or for temporary period of time, even those can buy insurance of that particular property. This input has been given by this case law. Now, the next is, what is the nature of insurable interest? So, nature of insurable interest we can understand by very simple point. First is, interest must be in pecuniary nature, means like you can you must have to define, or you could have been defined it in form of monetary part. Only the love or affection for any particular person or particular property cannot prove the insurable interest in that particular property. The right must arise, either you must have authority or title or ownership of that particular property, or by terms of any contractual obligation, as you are leasing any property. So by lease deed or by that lease contract, you are having the insurable interest in that particular property, that you can prove by that contractual term. So in the nature of insurable interest, you first of all you have to prove the monetary relationship or pecuniary relationship with that particular subject matter. Only love, affection, feeling is not enough. The another thing is interest. Whatever interest you are having in that particular subject matter, it should be lawful and legal in nature. It shall not be illegal, unlawful, or against moral or public policy. So this is about nature of insurable interest. So next we will be dealing time and duration of interest. It differs on the basis of different type of insurance. So starting with first, if we talk about life insurance. In case of life insurance, the presence of insurable interest is necessary at the time of commencement of policy. It means that whenever you are buying insurance, you must have insurable interest in that subject matter. I will give you one example for this. For example, as we are talking about life insurance, so in this case, life is subject matter to the contract. So now you must be having you must be buying life insurance for your own self, your family, your wife, likewise. So whenever you are buying insurance for your wife, you must have insurable interest with that person at the time of buying of the policy. The another example is, for say, if there is relationship of creditor and debtor, so there is the creditor is having the insurable interest with the debtor, because if he will able to pay only the debt if he remain alive. But the policy what he is buying, the subject matter is life. So even if the debt is paid by the debtor, but the policy remain continued for the lifetime of that debtor. So it will so when it come to a time of claim, or at the time of loss occurred, that time may the creditor will not have the insurable interest in debtor's life. So it is fine, it is okay, because in life insurance the insurable interest the person has to prove at the time of commencement of the policy, starting of the policy, buying of the policy, not at the time of claiming for it. The next concept is, when we talk about fire insurance. In fire insurance, the insurable interest is required both the time. At the time of commencement of policy, means when insured is buying that policy, also at the time when risk occurred or when loss or damage occurred, because he has to prove the loss suffered by that individual, then only he will get compensation on the basis of indemnity contract. So in fire insurance, both the time it is required to prove insurable interest. The third is in marine insurance. In marine insurance, it is only at the time of loss. In marine insurance, the insurable interest insured has to prove only at the time of claiming the amount, not at the time of commencement of the policy. Now we will be understanding further the relationship between how insurable interest works differently for different kind of insurance policy. So first we will understand the relationship between insurable interest with the life insurance. Say when we are talking about life insurance, who can buy insurance, to whom or for whom, that we will be discussing. So first of all, individual own can buy insurance for self, because he is having unlimited interest for his own life. Secondly, blood relations. So whatever blood relations comes, or the person who is dependent on that particular person, he can buy insurance or life insurance of that particular person. Again, on this line, there are different opinion. As per the England law, they are having very narrow idea of this life insurance buying concept, because they are only allowed near relatives. But as per the American concept, they have given wide or extension to the blood relation. Even they have expanded this relation up to the in-laws too. And as in India, we are becoming and we are adapting laws just, equal and unfair. So we have adopted the American the concept. So we are also expanding the blood relations to the larger extent. Next is husband and wife is having insurable interest in each other life, and that has been established in case law Reed versus Royal Exchange Assured Company since 1795, because it is always considered that husband and wife has the insurable interest in each other life, vice versa. Next is the parent and child relationship. Again, as per the England law, parent cannot have the insurable interest in child life, because he cannot derive any pecuniary or monetary benefit from child's life. This is what as per the England law, but not in India. We can accept the relationship too. So in parent-child life also, the person can buy the life insurance and have the insurable interest in that. The other type of contractual relations, as we have discussed, so the person who can buy life insurance and who can prove that I am having insurable interest in the other person's life. What are the contractual relationships of this kind? Debtor and creditor, because as we discussed, if the debtor will remain alive, then only he will pay the installment to the creditor. Partner and co-partner, principal agent relationship, master servant, trustee and co-trustee, employer and employee. So these are the contractual relationship wherein you can very easily establish the monetary relationship between two parties, contractual relationship. So the other person will definitely face the loss if the one person is dead. So in this case, you can easily draw the concept of insurable interest in each other life. So this is how the concept of insurable interest works in life insurance. Second is how the concept of insurable interest works in fire insurance. As we already discussed, in case of fire insurance, the person assured has to prove insurable interest at both time. Firstly, when he is buying the insurance, means commencements of the policy, and lastly at the time when he is claiming the insurance amount or if the loss occurred. So both the time in fire insurance, the person has to prove insurable interest. Other relationship when we can discuss under the head of fire insurance are interest of bailee. As we know who is bailee, we know the example of tailor. In case of when you are giving your shirt to the tailor, that shirt and that cloth remain with tailor. So the bailee has the possession of goods in his possession. Your good, the bailor's good is in bailee's possession. So he is liable for his the property safety, and that is why bailee can establish insurable interest in the goods or property of bailor, and that is why he can buy the insurance. Second relation is interest of agent. Now we all know the relationship of agent and principal. So agent will have to do each and everything similar to the principal, and that is why he is exactly in the position of principal. So he is understood as a owner of that particular property, and that is why he can buy that is why he can establish the insurable interest in anything, and he can buy the insurance for that particular thing. Next is purchaser and seller. When we talk about purchaser and seller, there are two things. First is about immovable property. When immovable property is there, until and unless the goods it transferred to the buyer or to the purchaser, if he has not paid the money, in that case he cannot claim any money from the insurance amount. As per the section 54 of Transfer of Property Act, because that was contract for sale, means it is still in the process of selling. It is the goods has not been sold already, and similarly the consideration, the amount for that goods has not been paid by the purchaser, and that is why he is not having any claim or any right of claim from that insurance amount. The second is immovable property under section 49. If in case of immovable property, from the date of transfer of that property, it is the insurance get started with that date or that time only. So in that case, if the property is getting burned by the fire, so the person, the seller will have the insurance amount from the insurance company. In that case, the transferee or purchaser, because he has already paid the amount for that property, so he has the right to claim amount as a part of reinstatement of the property. So instead, because the property is not there, say example, the person is buying house, if the house is burned, so he has to build that house again, so he can claim the amount from the insurance money to build the house. So this is the case in case of relationship of purchaser and seller. The next relation is mortgagor and mortgagee. In this case, as per the section 72 of Transfer of Property Act, if the mortgagor has bought the insurance for any property, in that case mortgagee cannot buy it again on the same property. And secondly, if mortgagor has not bought the insurance of any property, in that case mortgagee can buy the insurance only up to the 2/3 of the property value, or whatever the mortgage debt is there, only up to that extent, not more than that. The next relation is lessor and leasee. Similarly, in this case, the leasee can buy the insurance up to the amount of his property charge or his authority to that property. Example of this is the finance company, the hire purchase the contract. The finance company is financing of the vehicle loan. Now, if the vehicle is lost, in that case, how the finance company will get pay back the amount if loanee is not paying the amount regularly or installment regularly? In that case, finance company can get possession of that vehicle. They can sell that vehicle and then they can compensate the amount. So if the vehicle is lost, in that case, not only the particular individual or loanee will face the monetary loss, but the finance company will also face. So in lessor and leasee can have both can have equal insurable interest in particular property, and they can buy insurance for the same. Next is marine insurance. In marine insurance, it is well settled that the person or assured has to prove insurable interest not at the time of commencement, not at the time of buying of the policy, but at the time of end, at the time of claiming the amount, or at the time when he suffered the loss. So here it is only opposite to the life insurance. Only at the time of, lastly, when you are claiming the amount from the insurance company, in case of marine insurance, it is liable to prove insurable interest. And another important thing is carrier interest, means like as we understand that when the consignment is there in ship, in the in transit phase, we can say even in the transit phase, the carrier company can buy the insurance for that particular goods. So for the short term also, any person can prove the insurable interest and buy the goods. So this is how insurable interest works for the different type of insurance as we have studied. So please go through that in detail and contact me and ask me for any query if you come across. Thank you.